Hey everyone, it's Justine, and today on the CraftStash channel, I'm going to be showing you how to add dimension to your cards in the sense of embossing, debossing, that kind of thing. So lots of texture in today's cards that I can't wait to show you. So let's dive into the collection and see how I created all these cards. So I'm going to begin with the Printed Text Embossing Folder here. I really feel like an embossing folder like this one everyone needs to have in their stash. It's the perfect embellishment for your cards to add texture without taking away from the focal points of your card. So I'm going to make my sandwich in my Platinum 6 machine here and run it through my die cutting machine. You can see all the detail that it puts into the card, and you can also ink up your embossing folders and add color to it as well. Or you can go over it with an ink pad lightly if you like, if you want to add a little bit more color to the card. But I love these backgrounds as subtle backgrounds. So I'm going to grab the Bookshelf Embossing Folder too, and I'm going to emboss a card panel as well, just so I get all of my embossing done at the same time. This folder here, you can pick and choose kind of where you want to put this. If you want to have the shelves on a certain part of the card, or you want to have all the shelves, or maybe just 3 shelves, you have a lot of options here. And you can see the embossed look here, the cool bookshelf with all the books on it. Next up is where you can have a lot of fun with different color combinations. So I'm going to cut books from these stack of books die set. There's plenty of sizes, lengths here, different textures, different fonts on them. And it also has a coordinating stamp with different sentiments as well. I always like to go to Pinterest and search different color palettes to pick my designs and which cardstock will go well together. I just find this takes the guesswork out of it and helps me use up a lot of my colored cardstock scraps as well, because these are perfect sizes here to use up your scraps. And on the spines of the books, you can add so many different sentiments that come in the stamp set. So I'm stamping here the "Today is your day." I'm also going to stamp the "Cheers to the new next chapter," and this is a perfect stamp for so many occasions. You could use this for birthday, graduation, new job, promotions, things like that. And I'm stamping these stamps in a monochrome look here, same color as the cardstock, and you can see the final look of all the texture on this card here. Next up, I'm going to be using the scripted background, and I'm going to be adding the books as well, but this time I'm going to add them as if they're on a vertical shelf instead of stacking them on top of each other. You can see these create such a beautiful, colorful focal point for any card. And the different sizes and lengths of the book just give it so much variety. I'm going to then stamp my sentiment here on a piece of scrap white cardstock in black ink. And this stamp here is perfect as well for a love story. So some stories stay with us forever, or maybe even just like for someone you've traveled with, something like that. You could also give a card like this too. I'm going to cut this sentiment here with a little fishtail, so just cutting from the side towards the center and then flipping it to the other side, starting at the exact same point and also cutting towards the center downwards. And then you can just add it to your card and it's already ready to go. And you can see the final results of the card here. Now for my last card here, I'm not quite sure if I've seen dies that add texture like this before, but we got to get the rest of it done first. So I'm going to grab this bookshelf stamp and I am going to stamp this in a really light ink. I'm inking this up in Whipped Honey, which is a very light beigey yellow color. Next up, I'm going to be adding texture with a die this time, and these are a little bit different. So you can see you have the outline of the die that cuts it out, but you also have these insides that add texture to your cards. So you could add that texture really to your cards without the bookmark or with the bookmark, which are pretty cool. So if you put them on here, you do have to cut them down a little bit because they are a little long. So you could make bookmarks out of this die, or you could add them as embellishments to your cards. I always try to design my products with tons of different uses in mind, so I just wanted to show you some of those uses that you could get out of this bookmark die. Not even just bookmarks, again, use those inner dies for beautiful texture to add to your cards. Right, here's a final look at all 3 cards from today. Adding dimension using dies and embossing folders, all a part of the Bookshelf collection from It's Just Paper.